صلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Last time we read the hadith of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, don't wear the natural pure silk, harir, and do not drink in pots which are made of gold and silver, because those two are for them, meaning the non-Muslims, in this life, and for you in the hereafter, meaning in paradise, agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim and other hadith sources. Today's hadith, Asim al-Ahwal said, I saw a cup with the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or I saw the cup that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to use with the great companion Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, and it was cracked, so it was patched by little silver. Anas radiyallahu anhu, the companion, said, I have gave a drink with this cup to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam more than such and such times. Narrated by al-Bukhari. This supports what we mentioned last time, that if the gold or silver is little, like here, it's a crack in the cup, and it was dealt with by patching it with a little bit silver to hold it or something like that. So that's okay, and that doesn't fall under what the Prophet ﷺ said in the other hadith, you see. That's why it's very important to know all the narrations regarding any subject, to know all the narrations, you see. To know one narration sometimes makes you give the wrong ruling, you see. To have the other narration, it will clarify the ruling for you better. And this is why Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, when they told him, how many narrations could someone be memorizing in order for him to be a scholar? 100,000? He said no. They said 200,000? He said no. They said 300,000, 400,000? He said, yeah, maybe, around that. You see. He was memorizing near 1 million of the narrations, you see, 1 million. And many other scholars in that time were learning either that much or very close to that. Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, he chose his book, which is around 4,000 something through hadith, to be of the top conditions. He said, I chose those from 100,000 true narrations that I memorize. And he said, I memorize 200,000 weak narrations, or something like that. You see. So, the scholars were like this. And that's why Allah fulfilled his promise of protecting this religion. People like those people had no concern but to follow those narrations wherever they are. Sometimes Imam Bukhari used to travel 1 month. 1 month. And at that time, 1 month was very difficult, on camels or something like that, sometimes on foot, sometimes. Just to make sure of one narration, you see. To make sure of the narrator, or to make sure of something in the narration, he used to travel 1 month, you see. to have this much concern, this is يعني, a special gift that Allah has given those people, you see. And he was not doing it in a way that he was complaining or that, no, he was feeling so great and so happy that he is doing this, you know, because he was feeling that he is part of God's plan to protect his religion, and that يعني, he is doing a great job in this, for this purpose. As a matter of fact, Imam al-Bukhari once traveled so long, maybe a month or so, and he reached the narrator in some place, some area, and he saw him had some kind of cattle. He was يعني, pointing to the cattle, one of the cattle, lambs or whatever, to come, as if he wants to give the lamb something, you see. Imam Bukhari said to this man, are you going to give him this? The man said, no, I just want him to come. He went back. He didn't take the narration from him. He said, I don't take a narration from you since you are lying to this lamb. Yeah, they were very, very accurate in this. Therefore, as we said last time, inshallah, also if لا ما في كويس. If يعني, the plate you are using or the spoon or the fork, if it is only gold plated or the watch you are wearing gold plated, this hadith does not apply. It's because it's very small. It's even less than the amount that was used in the crack that was fixed with some silver here. Because the paint is very small. If you really measure it, it's very small. Also, Abi Umama, radiallahu anhu, one of the companions whose name was Abu Umama, said that part of a sword, which is the head of the sword, of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was from gold. Narrated by An-Nasa'i with a good isnad, with a true isnad. with a true narration يعني. True isnad, true narration. An-Nasa'i was one of the hadith collectors, and his book is considered amongst the top 6 books in hadith collections. After Bukhari, Muslim, and Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, comes An-Nasa'i, the fourth. Now, today, inshallah, this is the chapter dealing with causes for breaking the wudu. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, no wudu, no ablution, except from hearing a voice or smelling a wind. يعني, this is a polite way to say farting or the other, right? The Prophet ﷺ said farting and said this, but يعني, in most of his teachings he was trying to make it nicer, you see, but sometimes he used to say it, because in teaching one should not be shy to the degree that he is not understanding and he is not daring to say what he should say. You see, yani one should not make those words, saying them for, the sake of learning, is a little, not that much. Yani. It's not like the non-Muslims do nowadays, and unfortunately a lot of Muslims, swearing became part of their speaking, a necessary part of their speaking. And sometimes the more you swear and say bad words, the more you are admired by the stooges, you see. So in Islam, you don't say those things. But at the same time, if necessary, you say them. No problem with that. The Prophet ﷺ was the most polite and the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and had the best morals. And yet, in some narrations, he said, if someone farts or blows a wind or something like this. So this hadith is narrated by Ibn Majah, Tirmidhi, and he said it is Hasanun Sahih. Hasan means good, Sahih means true. So this is a level which is not in the level of Hasan itself, good, and not in the level of Sahih itself. Some scholars said this is higher than Sahih because it's Hasanun Sahih. And some said it is in between the two, Hasan and Sahih. Hasan means a good narration in which all the 5 conditions of the true narration are satisfied, with only one condition in which the memory of the narrator is not as perfect as the narrator of the Sahih hadith. That is the Hasan. Okay, but both of them fulfill those 5 conditions that we mentioned earlier. And this is Hasan Sahih. This term was used mostly by Tirmidhi rahimahullah. He was probably the first one to use this. Actually, before Tirmidhi, they did not have Hasan. They only had Sahih and Da'if, true and weak. But then the Hasan was introduced later on. Ali radiallahu anhu. Ali is the cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here he says, Ali karramallahu wajha. Ali, may Allah honor his face, or something like this. This special dua, to attach it always to Ali, is not the way of Ahl Sunnah, because this will make him special amongst the other companions, which is not the situation. You see, all companions, we say, when we mention their names, we say radiyallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him. So Ali, some people say karramallahu wajha, his face was honored, and they meant by this that he never prostrated to an idol even before Islam. Okay, which could be the case. As a matter of fact, he became a Muslim when he was 10 years old. So even if he prostrated to an idol in his childhood, that's not counted. You see, it's not counted, because a child could do any action which he doesn't understand for a piece of chocolate, or less than that. But anyway, Ali radiallahu anhu, not only him who did not prostrate to an idol, even Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu never prostrated to an idol. And when Abu Bakr became a Muslim, he was old, not very old, but he was much older than Ali radiallahu anhu. And Abu Bakr, when he died, he was 63 years old. The Prophet died when he was 63 years old. Abu Bakr died when he was 63 years old. Umar died when he was 63 years old. I took this piece of information the first time from an American who became a Muslim, and he mentioned it on TV once. Then I went and checked it, and mashallah, it was true. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, the ages of my nation are between 60 and 70. This means normally. It doesn't mean all of them, No, there are Muslims who live up to 100 something. So Ali radiallahu anhu said, wa alaykum salam, I was a man who had a lot of madi, which we'll explain what is madi. So I was shy to ask the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam due to the position of his daughter from me. His daughter was the wife of Ali. So Ali was shy to go and ask the Prophet ﷺ this question. The madi is something which comes from the genital part of the man when he thinks of sexual things sometimes. It's not like the mani, which is the sperm. You see, the mani has many differences from the madi. The mani is the sperm, and it's not dirty, and it's the source of creation. Okay, the madi is like a liquid. It's not like thick like the sperm. Okay, the color of it sometimes leans more toward yellow. The madi. Okay, so this comes sometimes from thinking, of sexual thinking, And when it comes out, it's not like the sperm where it's flowing, strongly. This is something that comes out smoothly and maybe drops, drops. And Ali radiallahu anh had this problem a lot. Okay. So he said, I had this problem a lot. So, but I was shy to ask the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I told Miqdad, another great companion of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to ask the Messenger for me. What should I do? So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, let him wash his part, genital part, because the madi is dirty. And when something dirty comes on your parts, whether it's the genital part or around it, then you wash it because it's dirty. Okay, you don't have to wash your whole body. You wash it, just like if some urine comes out. The same situation, you see. So he said, let him wash it, then let him make the ablution for the prayer. Agreed upon, meaning by Bukhari and Muslim. And this situation, madha means someone who has a lot of this madi. He has it too often. Okay. There is another situation which is called salas al-bawl. Salas al-bawl means sometimes a person, for some reason or another, the urine keeps on coming out in small amounts, keeps coming out. This is a kind of disease, okay? So in Islam, what one should do is wash the place and then put some kind of pad or something so that it doesn't make your clothes dirty, okay? Some kind of protection pad or whatever it might be. And then if this kind of action is repeated, okay, that's why we call it salas, because it's a repetitive thing. Then you make wudu for every salat. Even if you did not break your wudu, you make a wudu for every salat. And this is for salas al-bawl. Also about Ali radiallahu anhu said, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, العينان وكاء السه فمن نام فليتوضأ. The eyes are the tying procedure of the hole, meaning the asshole. Okay? The eyes are the tying means. So he who sleeps, let him make wudu after he wakes up if he wants to make the prayer. Meaning what? Meaning that when you sleep, this tie will loosen and the wind will come, you see, while you are sleeping. Okay? While you are sleeping. So if you are sure that you slept, you did not only doze or something like that, you slept, really slept, then you do this. You don't assume after waking up that you did not break any wind. You assume the opposite. You see? Sometimes you are sitting like this, sitting on something in a position in which even if you sleep, even if you snore, because of this position, nothing comes out. Okay? That's different. But we are speaking about when you are laying down or something like that. Okay? So if you are in the masjid and you are laying down, you feel more comfortable to lay down for some reason, and you're sure that you did not sleep, then you don't have to go and make wudu, because you're sure that you have not slept. But if you slept and then got up, go and make wudu for the other prayer. Don't assume that you still have your wudu and you did not blow the wind. That's the meaning of the hadith. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying the eyes are the seal, or the tie, which it's the cause for tying, so that no wind will come out. Okay? As soon as you sleep, then it's loosened. The tie is loosened. You see. Narrated by Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, and others. Anas radiallahu anhu also said, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or the Messenger's companions, were sleeping in the masjid and yet not making wudu. Okay, narrated by Muslim. So what does he mean here? That sleep is where they are sure they did not break anything. Okay, they are sitting like we are sitting now, and they might sleep sometime. One might even say, okay. So, but he is sitting in a position that the wind will not come out. Okay, so that's the type of sleep that is meant in this hadith. You see. Again, I point out to the importance of knowing all the different narrations regarding the subject, you see. Because not knowing the other previous narration that we mentioned, someone could take from this that if he sleeps, he doesn't have to make wudu. You see? And this is wrong. Is that clear? So this is very important. That's why Ahlul Sunnah, their quality is they take all the Sunnah. They never dare to reject any true narration. Because if you dare to reject one true narration, then principally you are daring to reject all the narrations. Okay. So the narrations are a revelation from Allah. Even though the Prophet ﷺ said them, But whatever he said was a revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all the men of the narration in this hadith are trustworthy. Aisha radiallahu anha said, I missed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one night. I missed him in bed. Yani I didn't see him. So I got up and I was looking for him, where he is. So, and the situation was that their house actually was like a room, small room, okay? And then they had no lamps, nothing, sometimes nothing, no candles, everything. So she had to do this, walk a little bit, and she stepped on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on his bottom of his foot. She stepped on the bottom of his foot while he was making prostration, praying at night prayer. So, and he was saying, "Oh Allah, I seek refuge with your pleasure from your displeasure, and with your mercy from your punishment. And I seek refuge in you from you. I cannot count the praises that you deserve. All I can say is that you are as you praised yourself. You are as you praised yourself." So the Prophet ﷺ here is saying, I don't know all the praises that you deserve. And on the Day of Judgment, when people are resurrected, the Prophet ﷺ will be sought by all people for shafa'ah, which is a position special for him, that is to intercede with Allah, so that Allah makes the account for them, so that He relieves them from the waiting under those tough circumstances that they will be under. They go to Adam and then to Nuh and all other prophets until they come to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The Prophet says, I go to and prostrate under the throne of Allah, and I remain in prostration, praising Allah, praises that He will inspire me then. You see, that hadith supports this hadith. Here he says, "Oh Allah, although I know a lot of praises that you deserve, which are mentioned in Quran, like you are the most wise, you are the most merciful, but still I don't know all the praises that you deserve."